Let me stop the video here so I can kind of explain what's going on in this scenario. I decided to stop by and meet one of my neighbors who was mowing her yard, and it seemed like she was having a hard time doing it. She had quite a bit of space in her yard, quite a big yard, and she was pushing it with a push mower. Now, as I've had to walk up and down my street a few times, go to the store and stuff like that, I've noticed that when I get to her yard, the sidewalk runs out. So when I get to her yard is very spongy. Her grass is very thick. Versus yards like mine where, when I walk out there I can feel the ground beneath my feet. If I were to walk on her grass in bare feet, it would feel kind of like a spongy material. It's just how her grass is. It's very thick and very together because it's been taken care of by every owner before her. So she was pushing with the push mower, and she had like maybe 6 more rows with the push mower, maybe 4 rows if I were to take my riding mower out there. And so I had an appointment I had to get to real quick, just taking somebody home from around the corner who had, they were up at the laundromat. So I took them back home and came back, and she was still pushing on the push mower. So I went out there and I offered to finish it for her just to kind of help her out and tell her, that if at a later date she wanted me to, I have the equipment to come out there and just cut it for her, just to be, a friendly neighbor. Well, at first she declined. She said maybe next time she would call me out there, but, since she was so close to being done. So I talked with her for a few minutes, and then she turned off her mower and decided to, why don't you go ahead and finish it up. So I went ahead and went out there and I finished up her yard for her, and we got to talking. She said her neighbor's house, which had been overgrown for some time, she said that the neighbor no longer lives there. They live up the street, and normally they cut the grass, but they haven't been doing so this year. So I decided to go out there and take a look around just to see, what it would take to cut it, because it makes her yard look kind of bad to have, that tall grass next to it. And her yard is a very beautiful yard. It's something that's been very taken care of. So I decided to go over there and take a look, and when I went over there, it was, this was like a week or 2 ago. It was up past my waist. When I went into the yard, it literally came up past my waist. And I didn't know what was in there, so I didn't want to traverse the yard. I didn't want to get, in trouble for walking on somebody's property. So I went ahead and let it be at that time. Well, I came out there later, late this evening. I was just getting done, taking the youngins from next door, the neighbor's kids. I took them to get ice cream and stuff like that, and then I took them to take the same couple of ladies that I've been taking up at the laundromat to help out. Went to take them home, and they got to play with the dogs and everything over there. It was very nice. I got back, and it was getting late, but her yard was getting kind of high, and I figured, I could probably finish it before it gets too late. So I went out there and I knocked her yard out real quick, and I kind of wanted to see would my mower even be able to get down the embankment that it required to get into their yard. So I got close to it to just trim off on the side, and at that point I started to slip, and I had no choice but to, lock my brakes. And when I did, and I put the mower in reverse, I couldn't get any traction. When I did, the mower would not come in reverse. The belt of my mower is old and cracked, so it wasn't doing, it doesn't pull at its best in reverse. So I had no choice but to cut the wheel hard to the right and put it in drive and hope for the best. I didn't know what I was going to run over or anything if I had to get in there, but I had to get in there in order to get out of it, if you know what I mean. Because at the embankment that I was, if I would have got off and pushed, I don't think I could have gotten it out of there. It's a very, very heavy mower. I would have had to probably grab my truck or, use a come along or something to a tree to get it out from the position it was in. It's just too heavy to push up that embankment. So I went ahead and decided, you know what, I'm going to plow through it. So I set my depth to the highest level, and I went in. And immediately I struggled really hard with this. Now I have mulching blades on my mower that I have used for some pretty high grass. About this time, it was probably 4-foot high grass in some areas. It's not really even grass. It's more like clover-like plants at this point. And so I decided, you know, when I went in there and I traversed and was able to turn around and get out of that, I figured, you know what, since I've already did this, let me go ahead and just finish the yard. And I made, I think, one pass into the middle of the yard, turned around, and then I cut on the camera. This is where I cut on the camera to kind of show you how bad this is. Now, it's very difficult to see because the grass is very uneven. At some points, some places it's about 4 foot tall, other places it's about 3 foot tall. My mower is about 4.5 foot tall, and you can see it. It easily comes over the hood of that mower. And I mean, I just put my mower in the lowest speed and the highest deck placing, and as you'll see here in the video, it'll just traverse right through it with no issue at all. I did go extremely slow because I did not know what was going to be underneath me, and I already have a broken sprocket on one of my blades, which would in turn cause issues with if I were to strike my blade against something. What I mean by the sprocket is the way these Husqvarnas are built is there's these teeth that are on the pulley that match up with the blade that you put on there to once you torque it down or to keep it on there. Well, those teeth are worn down quite a bit because of improperly tightened blade before I owned the mower. So when I got to it, the mower had actually stripped those teeth most of the way out. I had to JB weld and torque it down pretty hard to ensure that it would not spin. So if I were to hit something, I would have definitely probably broke what was left of that pulley. And due to the fact I can't afford a new blade at the, a new belt at the moment, I sure as heck can't afford a new blade at the moment. So I wanted to go ahead and take it easy. Now, since I've had this mower, I have gone through quite a bit of high grass. Because it's such a heavy mower, it's bigger than most of the mowers I've owned, so I know it can take it. I do have the baggers and everything for it, but I didn't have it on at the time. I've been pushing this thing through some heavy stuff, and it seems to just eat it and keep going, which I really do like. However, this grass was really kind of giving me a tough time, especially when I had to cut new grass with old cut grass that gets clogged in there, and I should have put the baggers on there to go in there and do that. But basically, I go in there and I cut it, and as you'll see, I even cut the front yard and everything. And the camera work is very shoddy, and I apologize about that. It's just it's very hard to watch what I'm doing and watch the camera and everything else as well. Last thing I need to do is, you know, shoot a rock into the window, especially since I don't know who owns the house. So as you'll see, as you're seeing, excuse me, here, you will be able to see all this in action. So I'll let you finish watching the video and you can see how I did it. A couple places in here, one you'll see where I stall out. That's actually because I run over some weather piping that comes out of the where the gutters come down and it goes in this piping. When I run it over, which I didn't mean to do, I was trying to push it out of the way a little bit with the wheel, I actually hit a stick and it just stops my blades. And so I had to get out from under that and move that stick out and pull that out. And I did the best I could with what I had, as late as it was. Then I went ahead and decided to mow the front yard of the place so that it doesn't look so bad. But there is quite a big of a hill there, and I don't know if you can actually see it in the video, but I scraped the road with the blades a few times, and you can see sparks fly. So I wasn't about to attempt to ride that mower down that embankment cutting grass, because I knew that as late as it was in the dew setting that I would just slide, and I don't want to damage it any more than I already have, due to the fact that I have appointments later on this week with the mower. So I want to keep that up and good until I know that I'll have a day or two to fix it if I break it. But alrighty, I'll let you enjoy the rest of the video, and I will stop talking. You guys have a good one, and if you need mowing done in the Lynchburg area, just give me a call, let me know. I do offer, you know, different packages, such as In this case, it's just a bulldoze where I go there and I mow the yard, but I don't do any weed eating or anything. Any touch-ups, I just basically mow the yard as is, what I can with a riding mower. Some people like that because they have like weed eaters and stuff, or they really don't need everything perfect. They just want the basic yard cut, and it's a lot cheaper to do that, so I do that in this case. But alrighty, go ahead and watch the video and tell me what you think.